Warren Buffett felt incentive was so powerful that only he was able to control and dictate how incentive goes. So I'll give you an example. There's a couple examples on my team themselves of what measures I want to drive within the organization and how I compensate my team. So for example, how many emails are we sending out? How many open rates are we getting? How many clicks are we getting? How much purchases are we getting? How many booked appointments are we getting? And how many clay tables are we running at one time? How much enrichments are we doing at one time? All those, how do we move them across the finish line as a customer? What are their goals? What is it that they're trying to accomplish? What did you sell them on? And then what's a framework that we get them from step A, step B, step C, and then are we surveying them along the way? When they do the onboarding call, how was the onboarding call? Now, if you have a huge organization, of course, like a CEO and CMO and COO, right? There are certain incentivizations there, but there's also, in this video, if you're not getting everything you want out of your business, there's probably one thing that's holding you back. And that one thing is how you compensate your team. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying you pay them more or you pay them less. You pay them by hour or you pay them a salary. What I'm saying is how you compensate your team in a structure where it benefits them to benefit you. What do I mean by that? What I mean is incentives. And so one of the things I learned very early in my career was the proper incentives drive certain key metrics that you want to achieve. So for example, I was at the Berkshire Hathaway conference years ago when they used to do Berkshire Hathaway conferences live before the pandemic, and they started doing live again. But one of the things that Warren Buffett talked about, there was a question that came up in terms of how do you motivate your team? One of the things that came up was Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett specifically, he lets their CEO, Geico, all these other big companies, lets their CEO run almost everything. And lets him manage it. He doesn't micromanage anything. The only thing that he controls is incentive. Warren Buffett felt incentive was so powerful that only he was able to control and dictate how incentive goes. So I'll give you an example. There's a couple examples on my team themselves of what measures I want to drive within the organization and how I compensate my team. So for example, right now we run automations through Clay and Instantly. We send thousands of emails, in fact, millions of emails every single month with our clients. And so one of the things that we want to drive is how many emails are we sending out? How many open rates are we getting? How many clicks are we getting? How much purchases are we getting? How many booked appointments are we getting? And how many clay tables are we running at one time? How much enrichments are we doing at one time? All those things are measured. And so what I want is my person who's running my clay tables, who's helped me run these, who's helped me run the automations, Instantly, the cold email, and also the main email for client side as well. I have incentive based on what they're producing. And based on that incentive will be based on their performance of what happens. Now there's a story about another company, it was a steel company, and how they incentivize, and they were really, really strict based on incentivization. And how they're incentivized was based on their key KPIs, their metrics. So you have to go back and what are the KPIs that you need? If you're a younger business, you're going to talk about sales. So your KPIs should 100% be sales, right? If you're on the back end for the CSM, customer service management, the back end is customer success. So getting clients across the finish line once they've closed the sale, right? And how do you do that as quickly as possible? You incentivize them based on that. And the performance, reviewed performance that customers give you as well. And so every step of the way, you're going to want to review your customers, right? Survey them all the way from the beginning, from what they saw from you in the beginning before they were a customer to interim, right? And you want to survey them, and you survey them through the calls, right? And so meaning what questions are they asking on the sales calls themselves? Are they all asking the same question over and over again? Are they asking different questions? And those are things that need to be resolved. If they're asking the same question over and over and over again, what I normally do is I record every single sales call that I have. And then with that sales call, then I record that. Then I go through and I pull the transcript of every single sales call. And then what I do, then I go look for certain keywords, that phrases that come up every single time. What are questions that I'm frequently asking? And within those questions, then I update the front end and in my emails based on the feedback that I'm getting in the sales calls. That way, I get a lot of the questions answered up front before they jump on the sales call. And when they're on the sales call, what we really want them to do is we just want them to make some final questions to get to a buying decision. Yes or no? And sometimes, you'll need to do that. You need to do that with someone who on a call. But for the most part, you want to get the majority of their questions answered before you get there. And then when they've become a client and they move forward to the sales cycle and they sign the contract, how do we move them across the finish line as a customer? What are their goals? What is it that they're trying to accomplish? What did you sell them on? And then what's a framework that we get them from step A, step B, step C, and then are we surveying them along the way? When they do the onboarding call, how was the onboarding call? Was it something that we could improve or not improve? You want to be able to survey them across the finish line. And that's how you get raving fans. That's how you get customers that not only are excited about your product, but also refer over to you. And then ultimately, that's how you get less refunds at the end, less chargebacks at the end, because they're happy. And so overall, what you really need is you really need a system to read your client as much as you possibly can. And so how you do that is you do it through systems, right? And you do it through incentivization. So based on what you have, right, these systems, you understand your customer, then you can build the incentivization on the back end of who do you pay and how do you pay them to get the job done. Now, if you have a huge organization, of course, like a CEO and CMO and COO, right, there are certain incentivizations in there, but there's also incentivizations you can get for those lower tier employees, right? So who are not the C-suite executive employees. As I mentioned earlier, I have my guy who helps me run clay tables. We measure how much enrichments we're doing every single week. We measure how many emails we're sending every single week. Is it higher? Is it lower? Are we getting sales this week? Are we not getting sales this week? Are we getting booked calls? What's happening? We want to measure that across the way. And that person gets incentivized based on how well we do. And it pushes them forward to be able to do it. And so it does one or two things. One, either puts pressure on that individual and to where they don't want to work with you anymore, right? Because it's too much pressure, which is good because then you don't want to be with that person anyway. So they just told you they just told you that they're not a good person to work with. Or two, they bloom and they become someone who is a key person inside of your organization. And then you duplicate that. Then you become more and more, and then you get bigger and bigger. So those are some key things inside the organization that if you're not doing already, you probably should do immediately is look inside of your business right now and see what is it that you're missing in terms of incentivization and understanding your customer, and then repeating that over and over again. So hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, put in the comments. I'd love to hear back from you.
Hey, before you go, let me share something really exciting for you. If you're looking to transform your email management into a powerful lead generation tool, my company, Cultivate Inbox, has got you covered. We've helped industry leaders like Pace Morby, Jamil Damji, and Ty Lopez amplify their outreach and grow their businesses. If you're ready to turn your inbox into a lead generation machine, please don't hesitate. Go to my website or book a call with me to discover how to unlock your email's full potential. So don't miss out and take your email game to the next level. Thank you again for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.